Ladies and gentlemen, there is a nuclear power named North Korea. It's run by a 32-year-old. His name is Kim Jong-un. But there's another Korean powerhouse. She's just turned 22, and her name is Yeonmi Park. North Korea is regarded as one of the most secretive societies in the world. They call it the Hermit Kingdom. We don't know enough about its stories. But Yeonmi Park began her book quoting Joan Didion, who said, "We tell our stories in order to live." Welcome, Yeonmi Park. We feel so privileged to have you with us today and in such good health.
It's really an honor to be here today. Thank you so much for having me.
Anyone who reads your book will have, first of all, just one question to ask you first of all, and that is, how are you?
I'm great, actually. I think more than great. Many people ask me how you're not messed up after all that. And I dare to say that my life was a victorious life. It was a glorious life, and it will be. I don't think of me as a victim. Even this crazy dictator, he's very strong, but I don't think he's stronger than the truth and the justice. So I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to fight for my freedom and to be here on this stage and talk for myself and have this voice.
Because your book is extraordinary. It's the story, the astonishing story of Yeonmi Park. It's the story of your country, but it's also the story of your mother, your father, your sister, and me. And I think in South Korea right now, your mother, I think you call her Umma, and your older sister and me may be watching on the internet.
Yeah,
so ladies and gentlemen, you gave a welcome to Yeonmi Park. Please join in welcoming her mother and her sister, who may be watching somewhere.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
If they were here today, they would also share in your success. And you say in your book that there's two things you are grateful for. Mm-hmm. First, that you were born in North Korea. Mm. Second, that you escaped from North Korea. So let us begin at the beginning, when you were born in North Korea. In the introductory video, we talked about how you had a life of privilege, but that changed all too soon when your father was arrested for smuggling. But tell us then, what is your most abiding memory of growing up in North Korea? What sticks with you to this day?
I think everything is so strong experience. So even still in my dream, I'm in North Korea. Everything is different here. Since I was young, I grew up without the fear there that my mom told me not to even whisper because the birds and mice is going to hear you.
The birds and mice might hear you. You were scared of everything then, to speak out.
Yeah, and I learned how not to express since I was young. And I never learned the words what's critical thinking. And I never allowed to think for myself. And most of all, we were hungry. And I didn't even care what critical thinking was, what the other thing was. Just, I'm amazed to hear people saying, I'm sports, fan. I like this actress. I like that. But we don't have luxury to like something else other than surviving. Our life just surviving how to make for next meal.
What would have been, you went to school in North Korea. You say it didn't teach you to think. What would a typical class be like? For example, you talk in your book about the arithmetic lessons and how they described them for you.
So first of all, I didn't know where Europe located, and my mom doesn't know also. And I think I learned the math, and it was quite different here. I learned that the math problem was there are 4 American bastards, and you to kill them. And how many American bastards left to kill? And I say 2 American bastards.
Because they never just said American. It was either
it was one word
or American bastards.
And yeah, Western evils. I'm sitting here in the Western evils here. Yeah.
But yet you had to go to school when so often you were hungry. And one of the many striking things in your book is how you have to deal with such hardship when you are so young. For example, when your mother first left you to go to visit your father who was in prison, and she left you and your sister, you were only 8, and for a month you had to live on a bag of rice, and you did end up starving.
Yeah.
Can you remember what that felt like, even though you were just 8?
I starved for a long time until I escaped. Ate anything you can get from the nature, grasshoppers and dragonflies. And I remember, because I cannot imagine, hear people say, did you have a shower? And I think, how's it possible water drops you above you? I could not imagine.
Did you have running water? Or?
Absolutely not. And I was 8 years old and my sister was 11 years old. We had our clothes in the big bucket and we go to river and we wash our clothes and we wash ourselves. And winter time we go there and they bring the water and then we cook there. So it was just nothing like I imagined the life here.
And there's one of the anecdotes when you go to the river and you can look across to see the Chinese village, and you can see the little boy on the other side, and he accuses you. He says, "You're starving. You don't have anything to eat," and you say, "Oh, you big fat Chinese boy."
Yeah.
So you could see what it was like on the other side.
Yeah, I grew up seeing lights from China because North Korea is so dark and we never had these lights. I couldn't imagine you are having lights when you press a switch and it turns the lights on. And I wondered why China, they have lights, which we don't have. And also when I go to Riverside, the ethnic Korean kids coming out say, "Hey, are you hungry there?" And I'm saying, "Shut up, you fat Chinese."
But this was, because you say how to this day you're afraid of darkness. Let's show people what it was like, what North Korea is like, literally plunged in darkness at night. You see that? North Korea, darkness. South Korea, a nation
Japan,
full of lights. So that would have been, you obviously saw it from the ground level.
I think this photo defines North Korea, the darkest place on the earth. There's no lights.
Growing up with darkness, growing up with fear, starvation, growing up not being told how to think, and yet at the age of 13, you took the very brave decision in urging your mother that you had to flee. You had to go to China. And you made that decision, not your mother. What possessed you on that day?
Of course, I didn't know even word of freedom. I didn't know the concept of it. We don't have word for liberty or love, love that we know here. We will now express love to our lovers or mothers, only love for the regime. And of course, I didn't know what was going to happen. I just only knew. Because I remember when I was young, I saw the Chinese movie, the TV illegally. And I saw such a different thing. It was advertisement about the milk. And we don't have advertisement in North Korea. And I thought, TV talks about something else than regime and the leader. And they talk about milk, and I never knew milk was coming out of cow. So I was wondering.
So you didn't have any milk at all? You never drank milk?
I never even saw it when I was in North Korea. And I knew if I go to China, I would not starve. And my journey was not hero journey. I escaped for a bottle of rice, and that's why we risked our life for.
So you said you went in search of the light and of food to get away from darkness and starvation.
Yes.
But it turned into something else, something unimaginable, and for a long time for you, unspeakable. What did it turn into, your journey to China?
I remember the morning my sister left first, and we were very hungry. And my father was very sick, but he had frozen potatoes. And we were very cold. We don't have a sitting system. So he went to mountain, get the brushes, anything we can burn. And he put the frozen potato in his heart because it gets frozen. And he ate that with the snow because we don't even have the bottle to carry the water. And we thought, if we go to China, we will have a good life. And we just followed a guy who said, you can go to China tonight. And I just removed my appendix, and we crossed the mountain, and we crossed the frozen river. But the first thing I saw was my mother raped. And the man was trying to rape me, and I didn't know what was sex or what kissing was. And my mother protected me there. But that was not it. They said, if you want to in China, you have to be sold, you have to get married. And something is very saddened to me was I actually didn't care. I was just so hungry. I just said, I want to have something to eat. I didn't even say what I was going to do. And my mom asked me, what do you want to do now? I said, I'm hungry, Mom. And we decided to live in China. And that's how my mom being sold for $65. And I was sold for $260 at the age of 13.
You were 13?
Yes.
A very big 13, brave 13?
Yeah.
And your mother was 41. But the two of you, despite those difficult circumstances, the two of you managed to survive for those 2 years in China, being sold and sold and sold again. In fact, you sold your own mother to another farmer because the life would be better for her. You write about how sometimes you have to make such difficult decisions to survive.
Yeah, I had sold my mom for good because the man who bought me could not even feed us. So it was better for me to sell her to somebody who could feed her better.
And she was in a better place then?
Yeah, she was better place.
The work wasn't as bad. She could eat, you could eat.
Yeah, I could eat and we could eat, and that all mattered for us.
Then, at the big age of 15, another difficult decision. You crossed the Gobi Desert, and somehow, in comparison to everything else you lived through, crossing the Gobi Desert doesn't even seem that astonishing. You crossed the Gobi Desert, Mongolia, and then you reached another Korea, South Korea. What was your first impressions there? You'd heard so much about it, but very negative from the north.
Yeah, I remember when I was in China, somebody told me that if you go to South Korea, then you will be free. And for the first time I heard that free. So what do you mean I will be free? And that person told me, you can wear jeans, you can watch movies, you are not get executed or arrested for that. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. And I'm gonna risk my life for it. And that's how I followed the northern stars to freedom and crossing the Gobi Desert. And when I was arrived in South Korea, the first thing was, everything was shining.
No darkness.
I know, because at the airport, on the ground, something was moving, the escalator. I was like, ground is moving there. Why that part of the ground is only moving and not here? And I remember I went to bathroom there at the airport, and I saw the toilet paper, and toilet paper had a flower print on it, and the smell was so good. So I thought, I'm not gonna use this for that reason. Right? It's so pretty. So I wrapped it and I stored the paper. and then I got out, and then I saw the people for the first time who lived in freedom. And people had the small things on their hands. Everybody carried something, which is smartphone. And people were wearing mini skirts, wearing high heels, and dyeing their hair. They are wearing earrings, which we are not allowed to do in North Korea. And I remember, and then I learned the amazing things such as human rights, or freedom, and human dignity. And this is so new to me to learn about this.
And yet, you were the girl who grew up in the north, being told not to think, and your equivalent was about 2 years of education, proper education.
Yes.
And then you became what you described as a learning machine. You just saw books as basically your ticket to a different life and freedom. What happened?
It was because when I was arrived in South Korea, I knew less than 7 years old. I didn't know how that big strawberries taste like. I don't know. I remember they said you have to put your money in the bank. And I thought, how the ATM machine works. I thought somebody gives money inside the machine. And I remember they taught me how to charge my money the transportation card. So I put the money and the card was there. I thought money was getting the card. And so the money disappeared. And not only this, I never knew what Africa was. but Canada was.
So your world just opened up.
Yeah, for the first time, we went to the moon, what's the universe, what's human evolution is. And the book just answer for everything, and that's how I developed the book, and as my teacher and as everything.
But you talk about how immediately you felt freedom when you went to South Korea, but freedom is something which is also inside your mind. When we were talking inside the room, she said she just came from Canada, and you'd watched a program on television where someone asked a Canadian, "Are you going to vote?" And the person said, "I'm not going to vote." And you were shocked. Oh, the person's not going to vote.
Are you going to be executed if you say that, right?
So you're thinking it's hard to get yourself out of that way of thinking.
Because freedom meant...
There's no executions in Canada.
Freedom meant for me to wearing this earring, not meant for me the freedom of expression or freedom of speech. Freedom is there's different levels, and that's what I'm learning every day. I will never understand fully the concept of freedom, but I'm just enjoying this every day. I'm learning the depth has it, the freedom, what it means really for us as a human being.
You say that George Orwell's book, 1984, opened your mind, that you understood it was possible to think on two tracks, which is what you hear and what you see.
That was the thing, because when I was in North Korea, I watched the movie Titanic, and I'm sure you all know that. And I remember, these people are doing? How come such a shameful story can be made up by a movie? And I thought the DiCaprio and the producer got executed, and I found out very happy DiCaprio's alive. And I didn't care about Kate at all.
You just wanted to meet her.
Yeah, I'm like, is he alive? Is he okay now? Because nothing is love story in North Korea. Nothing, I never seen this kind of talk shows, or nothing is about us, human being, about the leader. We have to die for the regime. I couldn't imagine somebody dying for love. And that movie showed me a taste of freedom, humanity. But next morning, I was waking up, I say, our country is the best country, let's kill American bastards. And that's what I did, and I believed it. I believed that my dear leader could read my mind. I thought if I think bad things, he can punish me because he has almighty power and he can read my mind. And that really didn't make sense to me, and I think that book really explained to me what had happened to me and what's really going on in North Korea, how the brainwashing works.
But you are free. We can all confirm that you are free.
I'm free.
And you're with us here today.
Yay! We are free. Thank you. Thank you. We are free. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
But this is the man you grew up to revere, and his wife. He's 12 years older than you, or about 11 years older than you, Kim Jong-un. Is it hard to look at that now? What goes through your head?
To me, he's not a joke. To me, it's not funny, his haircut. I don't know why his haircut is so funny to hear. I don't know why it doesn't matter he's fat or not. This is paradise. This is heaven. But you may not know how many people fought for this what we have here. And I want to know that he's a criminal, he's killing 25 million there. And I hope we see him as not a joke.
You're fighting not just for yourself and your own freedom, but your speaking out is also helping many other people in North Korea. Your father called you Yeonmi Park. What all of us today call you is brave. Yeonmi Park, thank you so much.